Hello, PE, how are you? I hope you've had a really enjoyable holiday. And now we're up for a really exciting term three. And this term, we're going to be looking at first aid. Now, first aid is really important because we need to learn how to discern what to do in dangerous situations so that maybe a family member or a close friend is able to get the assistance or help they need. Maybe it'll be as simple as they tripped over and they got a cut, and you might need to help get a band aid. Or some serious injuries like your little cousin went into the pool and ended up drowning. And what would you do in that situation? And how would you assist your little cousin recover from such a traumatic experience? But before we start this term, I thought I would also just help with some organizational things. So last term, a few of you had emailed me and said, Miss, I'm really under the water. I can't get my work done in time. I can't get my assessments done in time. So I thought we would nip it in the bud before this term comes into full fruition and try to put in and install some organizational strategies so that you can do your best to try and get on top of it before you end up underwater. So what I have on the learning Schoolology is basically a blank timetable. It looks like this. So this is like your Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And all of you have different commitments and extracurricular activities that you're involved in. And so maybe sit down with your mum or dad or an older brother or older sister and work out what's going to work for you and how can you allocate time so that you are fulfilling all your tasks for each subject that you complete at school. So I have a little example as well. So I like color coordinating. It really helps me just be able to look at the page and know exactly what I'm doing. So I've just got an example here. So 7 to 8 a.m., get ready, you have breakfast. Like 8 to 9 a.m., you have a quiet time with God, like to spend some time praying, processing, thinking about what you're going to do that day. And then here, like 9 to 10 a.m. or 9:50. So at school on campus, our lessons go for 50 minutes. And so the work that I allocate for you on Schoology is also around about 50 minutes. So say you allocate 50 minutes for English and then you allocate another 50 minutes for PE. And then you give yourself a 20-minute recess break, just like you would on campus, and then you do another 50 minutes of maths, so forth. You can see from my Monday example what that could look like. So I hope that helps out a little bit, just to organize and strategize how to be organized this term. If you need any further assistance, feel free to email me or or give me a call at school or anything if I can help you any more in that way. So I thought we should just get started. Your workbook for this term is this first aid workbook just here. So in this unit, you'll learn about playing safe or playing it safe, which is just learning how to play safe. First aid itself, so how to apply first aid in different situations. Responding to a medical emergency. We'll also learn about asthma, burns, bites, and stings, and poisoning and overdose. So that's what we'll be learning about. And what you'll be learning to is how to recognize the importance of engaging safety and appropriately in a physical activity for ongoing health. You'll be able to assess risk, identify strategies, and develop plans to minimize harm in different contexts. So be able to look at a situation and how can you minimize harm in that specific context. You'll also learn how to demonstrate appropriate first aid responses when faced with a medical emergency and also demonstrate a working knowledge of current CPR technique and procedure. Work cooperatively with peers and make informed decisions and solve first aid problems. So we have a few vocabulary words that we need to orientate ourselves with for this unit. But before we look at that, let's have a look at playing it safe. So participating in a physical activity and staying active is essential for a healthy lifestyle. To stay healthy throughout life, we need to keep moving. Physical activity in different contexts and environments could include kicking a ball or running around the playing fields at school, throwing a frisbee or playing cricket in the yard at home, playing sport on a court or a field, exercising at the gym, which most of you probably don't because you're under 16, outdoor activities such as swimming, hiking, rock climbing, bike riding, sailing, horse riding, skateboarding, and surfing. Mowing the lawn, vacuuming the pool, sweeping or cleaning up can be considered physical activity. This kind of physical activity is called incidental exercise. So taking the stairs opposed to the escalator would be an incidental activity. Getting up and changing the channel on the TV opposed to sitting on the couch using the remote is called an incidental activity. Notice that these activities all take place in different environments, whether in familiar or unfamiliar surroundings. You need to be aware of playing it safe. It is important to assess the risks that you might be exposed to in the midst of different physical activities and in different contexts and environments in order to minimize harm to yourself and others. So, assessing risks. If you are aware of the risks when engaging in physical activities in different contexts, you can make an informed decision about and take sensible precautions to minimize harm. If you do not assess the risks and take steps to guard against them, then an everyday fun activity could quickly become damaging to your health or even life-threatening to you or someone else. So, in particular, like if you are playing gridiron for sport, and you don't assess the risks of the sport and put on the appropriate gear to guard yourself from harming yourself physically, what seemingly was a fun activity can be a life-threatening or a lifelong injury, which is not necessary. So on the next page here, we have a literacy activity. So remember, I just mentioned that there are a few words that you need to orientate yourself around for this particular unit. So some of these words are conscious, circulation, respiration, response, pulse, shock, unconscious, external cardiac compressions, defibrillation, you don't come around that word every day, cardiopulmonary resuscitation, ultraviolet radiation, signs of life, buoyant, and anaphylaxis. So I want you to have a look at those words just on the right hand side of that, and I want you to take a few minutes just to try and link up or match up the appropriate term with the appropriate definition, and we'll check that in the next lesson. Feel free to use the dictionary or go on Google to find the definitions if you haven't heard of them before. That's completely fine.